Hi my dear students, I welcome you all for the video class. Today I am going to revise Geography chapter 7, Human Environment, Settlements, Transport and Communication. Okay children, what we discussed in previous chapter? Yes, we have read about the relationship between the human beings and the environment. Isn't it children? Yes, the environment affects the human life on a large scale. Isn't it? Yes, of course. The human beings exploit the environment to fulfill their increasing needs. Both the environment and the human beings are interrelated to each other. They affect each other on large scale. Especially the human beings form a significant part of overall environment. Clear? It is believed that human life firstly appeared on the earth's surface. Do you know that children in the early period human beings lived by hunting and food gathering, isn't it? They went out in search of animals for hunting and fruit gathering. This wandering style of early people is often called what children? As nomadic life, isn't it? What is meant by nomadic life children? Is this wandering style of early people is often called as nomadic. It is nothing but they move one place to another place in search of food. That is called as nomads. Clear children? The nomads lived in caves and other natural shelters. Clear? In this chapter, we will discuss about the settlements. Okay, what is mean by settlements children? The clusters of different houses in which people live in that are called as settlements. Once again I'll repeat what is meant by settlements. The cluster of different houses in which people live in that are called as settlements. Settlements are the organized units of a number of people who making a living out of their surrounding environment. Are you understand children what I am telling? Settlements are the organized units of a number of people who make a living out of their surrounding environment. Clear? We have two types of settlements, isn't it children? Yes. What are they? One is permanent settlement, another one is temporary settlements. Do you know the children? Okay children, now we will discuss about the temporary and permanent settlements. Okay students, what is mean by temporary and permanent settlements? Yes, in temporary settlements, people live for a short time. They move from one place to another place, especially in search of food. Clear? In temporary settlements, people live for a short time only. Other than that, they move from one place to another place in search of food. Such type of settlements are found in hot and cold deserts, then mountains, valleys and so many places. Okay. Children, once again I'll repeat the temporary settlements. What is meant by temporary settlements? Temporary settlements, the people live for a short time. Clear? Then they move from one place to another, especially in search of what? In search of food. Such type of settlements are found in very hot and cold deserts, then mountains, then valleys and so many places. Clear children? Then people practicing the temporary settlements are involved in hunting, food gathering, then shifting agriculture and so many things. Okay. While in the permanent settlements, people build their permanent houses to live in that. Clear? What is mean by permanent settlements? People build their own houses, permanent houses to live in that. Okay, the actual piece of land on which the settlement is built is called what? Yes, site of that settlement. Once again I'll repeat the point children. The actual piece of ground on which the settlement is built is called what? The site of settlements. Clear? An ideal site should meet the some requirements, isn't it? Okay, what are the requirements, children? If the site is ideal means we have some requirements. What are the, children? Yes, availability of resources like fertile soils for agriculture, then grasslands, water, and even animals in the area which could be domesticated. Clear, children? Availability of resources such as fertile soil for agriculture, then grasslands, then water, and even animals in the area which should be domesticated. Clear? Then the location of settlement sites accessible by modes of transport, road, animals, then river transport like boats or sea routes. Children, are you understand what I am telling? First, if the ideal site means should meet some requirements. First, availability of resources like fertile soil for agriculture, then grasslands, water, and even animals in the area which could be domesticated. Then, location of the settlement sites accessible by modes of transport, road, animal, then river transport like boats or sea routes. Okay. Next, the open spaces within the landscape, for example, at the periphery of the forest. For this reason, one can find some people still living in the forest, others settled in small villages in the grassland between two forested regions. Children, are you understand what I am telling? Open spaces within the landscape. For that I will give an example, that periphery or at the periphery of the forest. What does mean? For this reason one can find some people still living in the forest, others settled in small villages in the grasslands between two forested regions. Clear, children? Are you clear with that? Other factors which have played an important role in the emergence of permanent sites for which include what? The functions, as ceremonial functions having some religious importance, then distances involved from the main roads, then the activity sites. These are the example. Production of ceramics or tools. Clear with that, children? Are you clear, children? These are the requirements should meet for the ideal site. Okay. Next, we will discuss about the rural and urban settlements. Children, what is mean by rural and urban settlements? First, what is mean by settlements? The cluster of different houses in which people live in that are called as settlements. Okay. Settlements may consist of a few houses and a large number of houses. Settlement may consist both the few houses or a large number of houses. They may also belong to a village or a city. Clear, children? The settlements belong to the village means that are called as what? Rural settlements. While those who belongs to the cities or towns that are termed as what? Urban settlements. Do you clear with the, children? What is mean by urban settlements and what is mean by rural settlements? The settlements which belongs to the village that are called as rural settlements. The settlements which belongs to the cities or towns that are termed as urban settlements. Clear, children? Okay. In rural settlements, people are engaged in the primary activities such as agriculture, then mining, animal rearing, then dairy farming, fishing, and so many things. Okay. While in the urban settlements, trade, transport, industrial production, defense, administration, then cultural recreation, these are the main activities which are performed by their urban people. Okay. These activities are also known as what? Secondary and tertiary activities. Clear, children? The rural settlements, people are engaged with the primary sector or primary activities like agriculture, mining, animal rearing, then dairy farming, fishing, and so many things. Okay. But in the urban settlements, these activities, what are the activities? transport, industrial production, defense, administration, cultural recreation. These are the main activities which are performed by the urban people. These activities are also known as secondary and tertiary activities. Clear, children? Both rural and urban settlements are interdependent to each other. Interdependent. Clear? Or interdependent. Urban settlement depends on the rural settlements for food, especially for vegetables, fruits, milk and other raw materials. Whereas villages need education, entertainment, employment and so many things. Isn't it, children? Yes, of course. Do you clear what is the difference between what is mean by rural and urban settlements, children? But the settlements which belongs to the settlements which belongs to the village that are called as rural settlements. Clear? The settlements which belong to the cities are towns, that is called as urban settlements. Clear? Rural people which engage with primary activities while the urban people engage with the secondary and tertiary activities. Okay, what is the difference between rural and urban settlements, children? First, rural settlements, they vary in size from the isolated dwellings to village. They vary in size from the isolated dwellings to village. While in urban settlements, these can be large or small, but isolated dwellers are not part of the urban settlements. Clear, children? Rural settlements, they may vary in size from isolated dwellings to villages. While in the urban settlements, these can be large or small, but isolated dwellers are not a part of urban settlements. Then the rural settlements are very smaller in size, but in the urban settlements are big in size. Clear? Then rural activities, what are the activities? Indulged with the agricultural activities, that is primary activities, but in urban they are engaged with the secondary and tertiary activities. Are you clear, children? Okay, we'll move on to next topic. Next we'll discuss about the dispersed and compact settlements. Okay, students, what is mean by dispersed and compact settlements? Yes. In dispersed settlements, they are mainly found in the highlands, then deserts and farmlands. Okay. In this type of settlements, few houses may be spread over an area. Dispersed settlements means what, children? It is mainly found in the highlands, then deserts and farmlands. Okay. In this type of settlement, which type of settlement, children? Dispersed settlements have few houses may be spread over an area. Clear? Then this settlement deals with simple and quiet lifestyle. Clear, children? Okay. What is mean by compact settlements? Compact or nucleated settlements. Clear? That is mainly found in the urban areas and river valleys are associated with this type of settlements. Okay. In this type of settlements, the houses are built close to each other around a nucleus. Children, are you understand what I am telling? Such type of settlements have great facilities like schools, colleges, then markets and temples. This is the main difference between the dispersed and compact settlements. Clear, children? Dispersed settlements are mainly found in the highlands, deserts and farmlands. But in compact settlements or nucleated settlements are mainly found in the urban areas and river valleys. Clear, children? Are you clear with it? Okay, we'll discuss the next topic. Next, we will discuss transport. What is mean by transport, children? Yes, mainly it refers to the means by which people and goods move from one place to another. What is mean by transport? Transport mainly refers to the means by which people and goods move from one place to another. Mainly it plays a vital role in the human societies. It is the most significant factor in the advancements of civilization. Clear, children? Are you clear with it? Transport is nothing but means by which people and goods move from one place to another. Clear? From the early times, people exchanged the traded goods from various parts of the world. To carry goods or people from one place to another based on the availability of transportation is essential. Clear? In the early times, a human porterage was also used to carry goods and people. And gradually, it was replaced by the use of animals, especially donkeys, cattle, yaks, mules, then camels, then elephants. These are the animals which were used as a beast of burden. Clear, children? Then the animals were replaced by the steam and internal combustion engines also. Then despite of the development of these newer mechanized forms of transport, older methods like human portraitures and animals are still used in many parts of the world, especially where the geographical and economical conditions prohibit the use of mechanized vehicles. Clear, children? Give some example for that as practical that tropical forest and high mountainous areas, human and animal portrages are still the only way of transferring goods and services. Clear, children? Means of transports are broadly categorized into 4 types. What are the, children? Yes, roadways, railways, waterways, and airways. First, we will discuss about roadways. What is meant by roadways, children? As roads plays a vital role in our life by providing door-to-door services. What is that first point? Roads plays a vital role in our life by providing door-to-door services. Especially in roadways, roads are the important modes of transport over short distances. Then again the roads are further classified into 2 types. What are the, children? Yes, one is metalled roads, another one is unmetalled roads. Clear, children? Then the major highways joining important cities of the world are what? Metalled roads. Clear? While few village roads are called as unmetalled roads or pathways. Clear? Are you clear with that? Metalled and unmetalled roads. Then the density of the road transport is very high in plain areas as compared to the hilly and deserted terrains. Clear? Almost all the mountainous regions, dense forests and deserts have sufficient network of roads. Then the roads that are constructed underground, that are called as subways or underpaths. What is meant by pathways, children? Village roads, few roads, village roads are unmetalled roads are pathways. What is meant by subways? The roads which are constructed underground are called as subways. Clear? Then flyover. What is meant by flyover, children? Constructed over the raised structures. The road which are constructed over the raised structures, that are called as flyovers. You clear about that, children? Then next we will discuss about railways. What is mean by railways, children? Railways are today more important for bulk transport of goods, and it is also used for traveling long distances by the people. Clear, children? One is today more important for bulk transport of goods and services. Then another one is for traveling long distances by the people. With the replacement of steam engines by electrical or diesel locomotives, railways can also travel fast. Clear, children? In metropolitan cities, and especially in metropolitan cities, metro railways run underground at congested places. Another type of railway is called what? As monorail, is running successfully in Japan, Germany and some other advanced countries of the world. Clear, children? Then India has the largest railway network in Asia continent. In this type of railway, The track consists of a single rail and it also runs suspended in air near congested areas. Clear, children? Are you understand what I am telling? Next, we will discuss about community railways. What is mean by community railways, children? Yes, a new term community railways has been coined to provide a trans-European rail systems. It is not given in a book, just please make a note of it. A proposal of establishing the European rail agencies has been accepted in some principles. Okay, the metro rail or underground railways already in operation in many European countries. It will be further and strengthened. Okay. Then the metro rail services have been started at many places in India like Kolkata, Delhi and Mumbai. Clear, children? Okay, next we'll discuss about waterways. Okay, children, what is mean by waterways? Yes, water transport today is not only the cheapest but a great attraction for tourists who wish to enjoy the scenic beauty and spend some time at the sunny beaches. Children, are you clear with it? Water transport in today, it is not only the cheapest but it a great attraction for tourists who wish to enjoy or see the scenic beauty and spend some times at sunny beaches. Children, are you understand what I am telling? Then many ships and boats are today machinized which travel fast. Isn't it? Yes, of course. Then waterways provides the transport services over long distances. Then these are used to carry heavy and bulky goods also. We have two types of waterways. Do you know that, children? Yes, one is inland waterways, another one is sea or oceanic routes. Clear? We have two types of waterways. One is inland waterways, another one is sea or oceanic routes. Okay, children, what does mean by inland waterways? Yes, inland waterways is nothing but it is formed by the large or navigable canals or rivers and lakes. Inland waterways are formed by the large and navigable canals, rivers and lakes. The Ganga Brahmaputra river system in India, then river Nile in North Africa, then the Great Lakes in North America, then these are the some of the famous busiest inland waterways of the world. Clear, children? What is mean by inland waterways? Inland waterways are formed by the large and navigable canals, rivers and lakes. Then sea routes are oceanic routes. What does mean that, children? Yes, these routes are very useful in international trade. What routes? Yes, sea or oceanic routes that are very useful in international trade. Then huge ships are used to carry goods and people from one continent to another continent. What I am telling, huge ships are used to carry what? Carry goods at the same time people from one continent to another continent. Then it is more and more economical. Then the sea routes and oceanic routes are connected with the land through some ports. Okay, I will tell some ports, children. Singapore port, Singapore seaport, continent Asia. Then Chennai, Asia. Then Mumbai, Asia. New York, North America. Los Angeles, North America. San Francisco, North America. Then Rio de Janeiro, South America. Then Santiago, South America. Durban, Africa. Cape Town, Africa. Sydney, Australia. These are some of the seaports which are connected with the sea routes and oceanic routes are connected with the land through some ports, major ports of the world. These are the major ports of the world. Then London, Europe, Rome, Europe. These are some of the major seaports. You clear? Okay, children. Next, we will discuss about airways. Airways are the costly but the fastest means of transport. Airways are costly but fastest means of transport. They are costly because of high cost of their fuels. Especially why it is costly means because of the high cost of their fuels. Okay, then airways were developed in early 20th century itself. Then the bad weather conditions like fog, storms, heavy rains, these are the main obstacles of air traffic. Okay, now people can reach to the remotest areas or remotest regions of the world with the help of what? With the help of air transport. Clear children, then the helicopters, jet aeroplanes are the various means of air transport. And second, I'll repeat the points, children. Airways are the costliest, but at the same time, it is the fastest means of transport. They are costly. Why? Because high cost of their fuels. Okay. Then the airways were developed in the early 20th century. The bad weather conditions like fog, storms, heavy rain, these are the main obstacles of what? Obstacles for air traffic. Now people can reach the remotest regions of the world with the help of what, children? With the help of air transport. Clear? Then the helicopters, jet aeroplanes are the various means of air transport. Then the air transport is extremely helpful in time of any natural or man-made calamities. Mainly they provide food, medicines, then clothes and so many things to the affected people. They also help in the rescue operations also. Air transport is extremely helpful in time of any natural or man-made calamities. Especially they provide foods, medicines, then clothes and etc. to the affected people. Okay, then they also help in rescue operations also. Then airways are connected to the countries or cities by airports. Okay, list some airports of the world, children. Some important airports of the world. Yes, one is Delhi in Asia, then Mumbai in Asia, then Singapore in Asia, then Cairo in Africa, Cape Town in Africa, then London in Europe, Rome in Europe, Washington in North America, Los Angeles in North America, then Rio de Janeiro in South America, then Sydney in Australia, Darwin in Australia. These are some of the important airports of the world. Clear, children? What we discussed so far? We discussed about four means of transport. What are they? Four modes of transport. What are they? Roadways, railways, waterways and airways. Clear? Waterways, we discussed two types of waterways. So what are they? One is inland waterways, another one is scenic or sea or oceanic routes. Clear? One is inland waterways, another one is sea or oceanic routes. Clear, children? Are you clear so far, children? Okay, we'll move on to next one. Next, we will discuss about communication. Okay, students, so what does mean by communication? Yes, it is the process of sending messages and ideas from one person to another. Isn't it? What does mean by communication once again? Communication is the process of sending messages and ideas from one person to another person. Clear? Along with the transport system, the communication network also become the crucial links for exchanging ideas and knowledge. Children, are you understand what I am telling? Along with the transport system, the communication network also become a crucial links for exchanging their ideas and knowledge. Clear? In early times, humans, birds, drums and so many things were used to send messages from one place to another place. In early times, what we used to send messages? Humans, birds, drums and so many things. Okay. Then the communication network may be either personal or at mass level. That doesn't matter. The communication network may be personal or at mass level. Clear? Then we have various modes of communications are used to provide the worldwide information, then education and entertainment. What are the various modes of communication are used to provide the worldwide information, education and entertainment. Okay, these old methods of communication were replaced by the modern means of communication. This may include radio, TV, newspaper, telephone, mobiles, computer, email and so many things. The old methods of communication were replaced by what, children? Yes, the old methods of communication were replaced by the modern means of communication. What is mean by modern means of communication? Yes, it is nothing but the modern means of communication includes radio, TV, newspapers, telephone, mobile, computer and email. Okay. Mainly radio, television and newspapers are the strong means of communication. Clear? They provide information to large number of people. Radio, television, newspapers are the strong means of communication. Why? Because they provide the information to the large group of peoples. Okay, since they communicate with a large number of people at the same time, so it is called as what? Mass media. Why it is called as mass media? It communicates a large number of people at the same time. So it is called as what? Mass media. The communications through satellites, emails, then internet, cellular phones and so many things brought about the revolutionary changes in the field of communication. Which brought the revolutionary changes in the field of communication? Satellites, emails, then internets, then cellular phones. They brought about the revolutionary changes in the field of what? In the field of communication. Clear, children? Then the satellites are also used to helped in searching of mineral wealth, then oil exploration, then survey of forest, underground water, then weather forecast and disaster warning also. Satellites, what are the uses of satellites? What are the help for satellites? Help of satellites? Satellites have also helped in search of mineral wealth, then oil exploration, then survey of forest, then underground water, then weather forecast and disaster warning. Then one main important thing is in today education satellites are used to educate students on a large scale. Clear? Education satellites are used to educate students on a large scale. Okay, students, I'll give some general information. The first Indian satellite. What is the name of the first Indian satellite of ISRO? Yes, Aryabhatta. It was launched through the Russian rocket on 19th April 1975 and Soviet assistance. Okay, clear, children? Okay, students, what is mean by global society? Especially in the late 20th century, there have been rapid developments in transport and communication. In the late 20th century, there were rapid developments in transport and communication. There have been closer contacts between the people of the whole world. Clear? Then it has also witnessed a closer cooperation among the people on social, economic, political and cultural fronts. Clear? Then there have been greater amount of trade. Then cultural contacts have also been strengthened. Then the strengthening of international relationships and contacts among the people of the world, that is termed to be what? Globalization. the strengthening of international relationships and contacts among the people of all over the world. That is called as globalization. Clear? In today, with the introduction of globalization, world is fast moving towards a global society. Do you know that, children? Then the idea has been promoted to enable people to promote the global social relationships. What is the goal of this cooperation, children? What is the goal? Goal of this cooperation is nothing but is to develop one's own capacity through obtaining access to global resources, knowledge and experience. What is the goal of this cooperation? It is nothing but it is to develop our own capacity through obtaining access of global resources, then knowledge and experience. Clear? It is the extra information for you, children. It is not given in a book. Just please listen, okay? It can be possible only through the partnerships among the people. The partnership may be between individuals or governments or other organizations. That doesn't matter. The partnership it is possible only through the partnerships among the people. For strengthening the partnership, some guidelines have also been framed at the level of UN, that is United Nations. Okay, what are the guidelines? First is a capacity building among the people of poor or underdeveloped countries. Okay, then to help the people to lead a better life. Then to encourage the government of member countries to solve their problems through dialogue and international exchange of knowledge and resources. In global society is nothing but it is about globalization. Okay, what does mean by globalization, children? The strengthening of international relationships and contacts among the people of the world. Okay, children, what is mean by nomadic heading? This is wandering style of early people. What is mean by settlements? The cluster of different houses in which people live that are called as settlements, isn't it? Yes. What is mean by site, children? The actual piece of ground on which the settlement is built. So it is called as what? Site. Okay. We have two types of settlements. At last we discussed it. No. What is mean by dispersed settlements? The settlements in which houses may be spread over an area. Okay. What is mean by compact settlement? What it also known as compact settlement is also known as what? Compact settlements also known as nucleated settlements. Okay, compact settlements is nothing but in which the houses are built are very close to each other around a nucleus which means center around the nucleus. Okay, that is called as compact settlements. You clear, children? Okay, what does mean by inland waterways? Inland waterways are formed by the large and navigable canals, rivers and lakes. Okay, clear, children? Are you clear with that? Then what does mean by sea or oceanic routes? Sea or oceanic routes are useful for what? International trade. Clear? Children, what is the main difference between rural settlements and urban settlements? Rural settlements means what, children? Yes, they vary in size from the isolated dwellings to villages, isn't it? Then urban settlements means what? These can be large or small, but isolated dwellers are not the part of urban settlements. Okay. Then one is rural settlements. The settlements which belongs to the village means that is rural settlements. The settlements which belongs to the cities means that is urban settlements. Clear? Okay, what are the activities done by rural settlements, rural people? The rural peoples always engaged with the primary activities like agriculture, mining, animal rearing, dairy farming, fishing and so many things. But in urban people is fixed with or engaged with secondary and tertiary activities like industrial production, trade, transport services, then defense administration, cultural recreation. These are activities which are done by the, which are engaged by the urban people. Okay. Children, I hope you all understand this chapter clearly. We'll see in next video class. Thank you, students.